Good morning. So, have you ever experienced mom guilt? My name is Shawanda, and I am a life and strategist coach. And I have a group that meets once a month, and it is called Single Mom Network. And in Single Mom Network, we work with the woman called Mom. And the woman called Mom, this is the woman who has always had some type of a sense of purpose, some type of sense of identity, but somehow once you have become mom, everything in life has been very much about who your child is, who your children are, what they need, and what you need to do to support them to be the best person that they can be. And somehow in being mom, you tend to lose your sense of identity. You tend to lose your sense of purpose, right? All the hopes and dreams that you have had, you start putting them by the wayside as you focus on the kids. Now, you also may be sister and friend and may have experienced some other changes in your life. Maybe you were a wife, maybe you were a partner to someone, and now you have experienced a life transition that has caused you to now raise your children alone, which makes it more challenging for you to focus on you, which means that you are putting truly all of your time, effort, and energy into your littles, or if you have bigs, right? So we have this group that meets once a month, the fourth Tuesday of each month. We meet online, and once a quarter we kind of get together to kind of come together and form community, because it is important for single moms to have the right kind of community, to be surrounded by other individuals who understand this journey of what it means to be a single mother, whether you are a new single mom or you have been a single mom for a long time. Now, this month, as we met, we talked about mom guilt, because as we meet each month, we like to kind of focus on a topic that is kind of helping us to grow and give us the support that we need as moms. And this is important, that we have true and honest conversation. And this is why we kind of send our children off to play or do homework, or, hopefully it's after bedtime by the time we're meeting for some of them. Because we need to be real in who we are, real in our conversation, real in our feelings. And one of the things that we need to be real about is mom guilt. Now, what is mom guilt? These are things that we feel guilty about as moms. And oh yes, by the way, I'm in my car. I like to kind of create these as I'm driving in the morning. And don't worry, I'm being safe. It's mounted, so you'll see me kind of focusing on the road. And right now I'm at a stop sign, so it's kind of cool. But these are things, mom guilt are things that we feel guilty about as moms, whether it is we don't have enough time to do all the things that we want to do as moms, because again, we are navigating this journey as a single mom. For instance, you are one person and you can't be everywhere, and being everywhere would require you in a day to be at your kid's school for a special event, but yet you need to be at work. And so the kiddos, sometimes they feel sad, or or they talk to you and say, oh, well, so-and-so's mom came to school today for the field trip, or so-and-so's mom came today to help out in the classroom, or so-and-so's mom came today to have lunch with them. And after hearing that for so long, sometimes we have mom guilt because we can't be at the school for the dance, for the show, for whatever these special activities are happening in the middle of the day. Because if we take off, then we're losing the time from work, which makes it more challenging for us to provide for our families, especially if we are a one-income household. And sometimes a one-income household might be you are working multiple jobs. Mom guilt may also be because you are the one-income household, your finances, or balancing your finances, may look a little different. And there are some things that you definitely want to provide for your child, which may be we'll say the extra things, right? And because you are unable to do that, you feel guilty because you're not doing that. And so we talked about how we are dealing with some of the things. What about if you have multiples? If you have 2 children or 3 children, and you have a child that is saying, well, you're not spending enough time, or you're always working. And so after a while, that makes you feel sad, or you're trying to figure out how to deal with that. And so you're emotionally challenged with that because you're like, well, I have to work, and if I don't work, then I can't provide. And so you're trying to balance these things. And there's just a lot of different ways that sometimes we feel mom guilt. Sometimes mom guilt comes in the form of other parents, whether knowingly or unknowingly, place guilt on us because they're able to do things and they feel that you should be able to. And this could come from other parents, or teachers, educators, or just other people who don't understand your journey, who may feel that you should be able to do things that you may not be able to do the way that they are doing it, because you have to balance your time or manage your time differently than they do, right? We're talking about all of these things. Now, this is important because it impacts our mental and emotional health, which therefore also impacts our physical health, and also will impact how we are actually interacting with our children on a regular basis. Because as we are experiencing mom guilt, and we are going through mental and emotional and also physical challenges, what we don't sometimes realize is that we are inadvertently interacting with our children through our own emotional and physical challenges, which means that if we are sad, we're irritated, we are kind of imposing that irritation on our kids, and we don't mean to, right? And so we have to learn how to navigate this. One of the things we talked about is, one, being very honest about what it is that we're feeling, and why we are feeling this way. That's the first thing. What it is that we are feeling and why we are feeling this way. Because we have to identify that we are actually experiencing mom guilt. If we are not honest about what we are feeling, if we are not honest about what we are experiencing, then we actually cannot deal with the thing that is going on with us. And therefore, we cannot have a better relationship with our children. 2, once we identify what we are experiencing and how it's impacting us, then we can begin to start making small changes or small adjustments to actually work through our individual journeys. For instance, we had individuals that expressed how they are not able to spend or go to certain events during the daytime with their children. And that is understandable because, say for instance, you are a person who is on an hourly wage. Well, if you're on an hourly wage and you are working during the day, then while you may not be able to go to the kiddo's school during the day, there are special things that you might be able to do with your child that maybe another parent who is in a dual parent household, or a parent who or just say another parent may not be able to do with their child. And so you have to think of these small little things that you can do that are special for you and your child. So if I work, say at night, but I have time during the day to go to my child's school, that is my special thing. But if I work during the day and I can't go to my child's school, then what is now can be my special thing. Now, one thing we have to actually think about is if everything is special, then it's no longer special, okay? So sometimes what we try to do is we try to overcompensate, and we try to do everything all the time. If we're trying to do everything all the time, we're doing too much, and therefore we're putting way too much stress on ourselves. And then we're putting out this high level of expectation that we are no longer able to maintain over a long period of time. So we just need to figure out one thing that we are able to do with our child. For instance, one of the things that I used to do with my son was I made Fridays special. And so on Fridays, we always did something. Now, we didn't want to make it too finite, meaning, oh, every Friday we're going to the movies, because that may not be something that I could maintain every single Friday. But Friday was our special day, which means on Fridays I may not cook, and therefore we might just order a pizza. On Fridays we may watch a movie. On Fridays we may go out to a movie. On Friday we may go out to dinner. On Friday we might have game night. On Friday we might stay up late. On Friday we might go away for a weekend. But whatever it was, that was our special time that we spent together. And when other things came up, I would always say, well, my time with my son, that's our date night, was Friday. Now, if sometimes he made plans to do something, or he wanted to do something, of course, we don't push the kid to say, well, that's our time. We always check and confirm, okay, we were going to do this. Are you okay with change? Because we want the child to understand that they're making choices, and that they've made the choice to do something different, and that's okay. Because again, that's our guilt. We have to deal with our feelings, our emotions, and not impose our feelings and our emotions on the child, right? So again, the child made a choice to do something different, and we're okay with doing something different. But we just had a plan on doing something special and having our special time with the child, so that we can get over the challenge that we were having of not being available to our children at a certain time, say at school, or in a certain way that was working for, say, another parent. So that's one thing we can do. Another thing is having some type of accountability partner. Sometimes we're doing things in isolation because we're single moms, and so we are making our children our best friends. Our children we can have a great relationship with, but we want to be careful of our boundaries with our children and not put too much weight of the wrong type of relationship on our children, whether our children are young or even if they are a teenager. Because if we don't respect the boundaries of the relationship, and these are healthy boundaries, then what happens is when the children are going and they are having relationships, whether it's friendships or intimate relationships or whatever that looks like, whether it's mentors or whatever in their lives, then they are going to have challenges in those relationships in their lives, because we have not set those healthy boundaries at home, because they are not able to understand the roles of people in their lives, because mom has been unable to help them understand the role of mom, and mom having a healthy relationship with mom, because mom has made child best friend, and mom has been codependent upon child. So we need to be very, very mindful of that. So having an accountability partner and building community as a mom allows you to connect with someone else, another mom, other people, to check in and say, okay, so I've been feeling, so have you ever experienced, have you ever felt, and then process those feelings with someone else who may understand, and then talk those things through, and then as you're processing, come up with ideas and ways that you can again go back and make a plan on how to deal with what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. So it becomes a cycle of how to deal with mom guilt in a very, very healthy way. All right. So things that we need to do to kind of help us with mom guilt. 1, acknowledge our feelings, acknowledge what we're experiencing, and then as we do so, we come up with a plan so that we can overcome that, and coming up with a very healthy plan, making sure that we are not overcompensating for those things, so that we can have true expectations and not setting the bar too high, so that we can do something that we can maintain for the long haul, right? And then we want to have community or accountability partners to check in, so that 1, we're maintaining the healthy boundaries and healthy relationships with our children and not imposing our mom guilt on our kiddos. And then we're able to process what we're feeling, what we're experiencing with the right person, say another mom, another friend that can understand, and then they can help us to work through our plans and make sure that our plans are fitting those points that we mentioned, and that we're not overcompensating, that is realistic, not overcompensating, that is realistic, that it's something that we can maintain, and that it fits within our boundaries, right? So these are things that you can do to kind of help you with mom guilt. So we talked about in our group. Hopefully next time when we have our single mom group, you can come out to our single mom group, meet some other fellow moms so that you can have someone to kind of process some of these things with. Meet some great and wonderful moms. We want our group to grow, and we can meet up and do some great things, go on some retreats, because you need this time for self-care. You need time to work on your dreams, work on your goals, and be the person called mom. Work on the woman called mom. Who is this woman called mom? When you go out all the time, it's always, oh, that's Johnny's mom, that's Susan's mom, that's Jan's mom. But who are you, right? Who is the woman called mom? Let's get back to that woman. Let's realize who you are, the hopes and dreams that you had before you were mom, and let's work on the life that you always dreamed of having, so that you can also teach your children to do that. Give them those tools so that they can have the life that they want as well. My name is Shawanda Randolph. I am a life and performance strategist. I hope this has been helpful for you today, and hopefully you'll connect with us and meet up with us in our next single mom group. That is going to be the 4th Tuesday of each month. It is right online. You can go right on my website. You go to By Faith She Builds, byfaithshebuilds.com, and register today so that you can meet us online. And you can also find us on Eventbrite. All right, until next time, I'll see you soon.